So I absolutely love this ute, but there's one thing I don't like about having all this extra weight on it, and that is how much it affects the acceleration. That is kind of to be expected from any modern ute. So I started wondering if there was going to be a way to improve the performance without voiding the warranty or doing anything that can't be reversed later down the line if we want to. So we're going to install and test these 3 driveway mods to see how they stack up. Definitely sounds better. Oh my God. The very first mod we're going to be installing isn't anything crazy, but from what I've heard, they do make a pretty big difference, especially as you load the car up and you really start to feel that throttle lag or a bit sluggish. And it is a throttle controller from Torque-It. This one has like Bluetooth and stuff, and I think it has over 60 different increments you can change it by, so you can really customize it to how you want it. Alrighty, so let's open it up. Got the little controller itself, remote, just the wiring that's completely plug and play. And now super easy. This just goes back into the accelerator, and then this one here goes into the plug you just removed from the accelerator, and then this goes into the Torque-It unit. So this end replacing the one that was plugged in before, this end connecting to the one I removed, and then now we just get to screw this on and we have our throttle controller sorted. Cool, now I'm just going to hit the torque, add device. So the code was just on the back, so I scanned that and boom, we're on. Yeah, so far the app seems super easy to use, super straightforward, it reconnected super quick. And then having the handy little remote, I'm probably going to use this most just because I'll probably just be going between cruise and sport, and then this for when off-road, or if I really want to push its limits when I have everything set up. And the second mod we're doing is something that I've wanted to install on a car for as long as I can remember. And this car is the perfect car to do it to. Since the 4JJ3 is basically a truck engine, it does sound like one. So I'm pretty stoked that I get to put one of these in the car. It's a 3-inch exhaust from Torque-It. I know this video is not sponsored in any way. They're not paying me to say anything, positive, negative, whatever. But however, they did actually gift me all of this stuff. But I promise you that will not sway me in any direction at all. All right, let's have a little look what comes in the box. Part 1, part 2, part 3. And some hardware. And before I get on with installing this, I'm actually going to do a bit of a test, and I'll put the microphone down, start the car up and get the exhaust note, and then do an updated one with the new exhaust. So I've got my wireless mic set up here. I know the rough distance and the exact settings that it's all set on. I'll be able to tell you how much louder it is, and you'll be able to listen how much better it sounds and probably less tinny.
Alrighty, so step number 1, got WD-40 and have to spray all the rubbers, all the bolts, everything, so it can release nice and easy.
So just went to the shop and picked up these because those bolts are so corroded. Hopefully I will now be able to get them out. If not, I'm going to get the grinder. So I've got it locked on, hopefully. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it took a bit of doing, but managed to get these 2 bolts off. And then now I've got to do the 2 connecting to the muffler. And I think we start taking all the bits off so we can put the new ones in. So I've got the exhaust dropped, but now I need to pull it that way, drop this end, and then pull it out forwards. Change of plans, it can't go out that way, so I'm just going to cut it. A little tricky to film, but I'll show you the progress. Got the first bar resting in place. And then I need to go get the rest and chuck them in temporarily and then start bolting together. I'll also show you the difference between the old exhaust and the new exhaust. The old one is so disgusting. Look at that compared to this thing. Middle section in. All right, moment of truth. Reacting to it starting up. Go on. Definitely sounds better. So I've put the microphone back here and we're going to do the same test that we did before so you can hear the difference in the exhaust. Number 3 is something I've wanted to do to a 4-wheel drive ever since I started 4-wheel driving. And it's a tune, but this is a kind of removable tune. So it's a power module also by Torque-It. It runs on the exact same app as the throttle controller
but this one actually does change the performance, not just change how the throttle interacts with the car. For all different models of car, they give you different increases in power. I'll put the one up for the BT50 on the screen now. I'm excited to get that little bit more power out of the car and see how it runs with their whole ecosystem going at the same time. So what I understand from this, it is basically the exact same as a tune. However, instead of having to take your car in and get a dynoed, Torquett's proper engineers do it themselves, and they are still within the manufacturer's specifications for the engine. It's just a basic tune. From what I've heard, it is more than worth it, especially on the car on the BT50 that I feel like has a pretty stock standard basic map from factory. Not very many plugs. Still pretty self-explanatory, I think, once I read the instructions. This is another no tool. Oh my God. That was hilarious. I had no idea that was even a thing. It's another no tool assembly. It's just undoing some plugs. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm not even going to pretend like I know what I'm doing here. I'm reading the instructions word for word to make sure I do not do something bad and break my car or the module. First, I've got to remove the engine cover thing. Why is that like half the size of the engine? It's really hard to see, but the plug that I've got to get to is the rail sensor, is somewhere down there. There we go, that one there, the one with the two white spots. And then after that is the boost sensor, which is that one there, which is way easier to get to. It's like 38 degrees right now, so that's why I'm sweating. So you'll just see me doing the boost sensor, but to get to the rail one was pretty tricky. I ended up actually having to reach through here behind the shocky and then up into where I could see it from before. A little bit tricky, but it's in there now, which is good. So I'm just going to tuck it away and make sure it's not going to hit anything. That's the boost sensor connection, and then that's the one that goes back to the cab. Just quickly jammed it in behind the battery, and then the cable is sticking out. Yeah, so now I'll connect up the unit, and then I'm thinking, put it down there. I might even just double-sided tape it on top of here for now. Just do the final plug. Now I need to figure out where to put it. Couldn't find any 3M, so it's just chilling there for now. But I'm excited to get it turned on and see what it does. Let's go. So fast forwarded like 3 or 4 months into the future, and I've been running this stuff now for a while, and I want to do a little test, like a 0 to 50k an hour test with each of the things turned on and off, obviously excluding the exhaust. So I've just driven out here and we're doing the first test, which is everything turned off, the tune turned off and the throttle controller turned off. Obviously can't turn the exhaust off. And excuse my voice, I'm pretty sick right now and I sound like shit. Test number 1, nothing on. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, test number 2, throttle controller at 100%, highest it can go. Alrighty, in 3, 2, 1. So now it's time for the last test, but that one there we managed to knock off 0.1 of a second, which I suppose over 50 meters for no actual change to the engine at all is pretty good. Now let's go do this last one. Alrighty, final test, tune back on, throttle controller in 3, 2, 1. So now I've overlaid all those times onto one clip so you can see just how much time you knock off. You do really get a pretty good performance bump just by using those 2 things. And the exhaust is just to add a little bonus to make it sound better. This is actually my first ever build video on YouTube where I've been adding stuff to the car. So if you liked it, didn't like it, drop a comment below, let me know how I can make them better, because I'm planning on doing a massive build series for a new car that I want to buy. So get subscribed to see that, and this video was kind of a little test so I can edit one and see how it goes and hopefully get better.